Everyone can see my screen. So all of you can see my screen, I guess?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So let's start. We'll be discussing two verses today, 1729 and 1730. So let's start the invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Yam Pravrajeta Manupeta Krityam Vaipayano Vilahakatar Aju Ava Putreti Tanmayatayo Taravo Bhinedu Stam Saro Bhutarudayam Vimanatu. So let's start. First verse. Suta uvacha Shrutva Bhagavata Proktam Phalgunaha Paraviraha Sprashto Vapastam Parikramya Brahmam Brahmastram Sandadhe. Suta uvacha Shrutva Bhagavata Proktam Phalgunaha Paraviraha Sprishtva pastam parikramya brahmam brahmastram sandade. Suta uvacha Shrutva Bhagavata Proktam Falgunaha Paraviraha Sprishtva pastam parikramya brahmam brahmastram sandade. So word by word translation. Sutaha, Suta Goswami, Uvacha Shrutva, after hearing Bhagavata, by the personality of Godhead, Proktam, what was said, Falgunaha, another name of Sri Arjun, Paraviraha, the killer of the opposing warrior, Sprashtva, after touching, Apaha, what? Apa is actually the word Apaha, means in the context of water, that's why it is said Apaha, Tam, him, Parikramya, circumambulating, Brahmam, the Supreme Lord, Brahmastram, the supreme weapon, Sandadhe, acted on. Sri Suta Goswami said, hearing this from the personality of Godhead, Arjun touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord Sri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the other one. Let's go to the next verse. Yeah. Samhatyanyonam Ubhayos Tejasi Sharasamvrute Avrityarodasi Khamcha Varudhater Kavanhivat. Samhatyanyonyam Ubhayos Tejasi Sharasamvrute Avrityarodasi Khamcha Varudhater Kavanhivat. Samhatyanyonyam Ubhayas Nyonyam Ubhayos Tejasi Sharasamvrute Avrityarodasi Khamcha Vavrudhater Kavannivat. Samhatya, by combination of Anyonyam, one another, Ubhayos, of both, Tejasi, the glares, Shara, weapons, Samvritte, covering, Avritya, covering, Rodasi, the competent firmament, Khamcha, outer space, also, Vravrudhate, increasing, Arka, the sun globe, Vannivat, like fire. Translation: when the rays of the two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire, like the disk of the sun, covered all outer space and the whole firmament of planets. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The heat created by the flash of Brahmastra resembles the fire exhibited in the sun globe at the time of cosmic annihilation. The radiation of atomic energy is very insignificant in comparison to the heat produced by Brahmastra. The atomic bomb explosion can at most blow up one globe, but the heat produced by the Brahmastra can destroy the whole cosmic situation. The comparison is therefore made to the heat at the time of annihilation. Joy, Prabhupada ki jai. Let's chant the Mangala Charana. Om Adnyantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Virati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Namami Nitye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunmadu Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langade Grim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Paramanandam. So yeah, let's read the verses once again. Suta Uvacha Shrutva Bhagavata Proktam Falgunaha Paravirha Sprishtvapastam Parikramya Brahmastram Sandade. Sri Suta Goswami said, hearing this from the personality of Godhead, Arjun touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord Sri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the other one. Samhatyanyonyam ubhayos tejasi sharasamvrute avrutyrodasi khamcha vavrudhater kavandhivat. When the rays of the two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire like the disk of the sun covered all outer space and the whole firmament planets. Right. So with the background of this is Ashwatthama, as we have been discussing, he is creating the mayhem here that he has killed 5 sons of Draupadi, which is against the principles of war, humanity. He has not followed any of the code of conduct, neither moral code of conduct, not world's, the law, that is economic code of conduct, not religious code of conduct. So Artha Shastra, Niti Shastra, Dharma Shastra, and obviously he is not a Bhakta, so he won't follow Bhakti Shastra. So he hasn't followed anything, and he has committed the heinous crime, and which was not approved by his master. So even if he is a son of Brahmana, he has acted like a very low class Shudra. So all the samskaras from his mother and father, he hasn't followed anything. So for that very heinous crime, now Arjun is going after him to catch him, because he has given a promise to his wife that I will catch him and bring to you, and you can stand on his head, and after performing the funeral ceremony of all the sons, you can take bath. So very heavy promise he has given to his wife to pacify her, and now he is going he went to catch um, Ashwathama, get hold of him, and when Ashwathama's um, horses were tired, and he realized that now there is nothing he can do to escape from the wrath of Arjun, the anger, and of course the Supreme Lord is with him, with Arjun, and at that time, as we all know, that half knowledge is very dangerous, and he is performing the exact display of his half knowledge. He knows how to fire Brahmastra, but he doesn't know how to retract it, and he just follows the rituals for his own selfish motives, and he he fires the Brahmastra. There is a process which we are going to discuss today, how to fire any weapon as per the Dhanurvidya. The Ved is called Dhanurved, and that's what he has received from his father, Acharya Dronacharya. And now the Brahmastra is coming towards Arjun, and Arjun is bewildered. Now Arjun is a Maharathi. He's a incredibly powerful archer. He's a fighter. He's the perfect disciple of his guru, Dronacharya, and then he has received so many weapons from Indradev, from Mahadev, and many other great personalities, even from Parshuram as well. And still, at this point of time, we just went through that he is saying that now what to do. I can see that effulgence, and he's asking the Lord that what is this? What shall I do? And Lord guides him and says, this is Brahmastra. You know how to fire Brahmastra, so you can counteract that Brahmastra, Ashwathama's Brahmastra, with yours, and you can retract both. And that's what he's going to do now. So that's the background. Something for all of us to learn from Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam is a life science, and it gives the very essence of everything, how we live and how to follow the path of bhakti, how to see the Supreme Lord's, Krishna's hand in everything, how he is the one who is handling, who is perfectly managing everything. So we will discuss that today. So from these two verses, today's takeaway is our duty should be performed as an act of worship to the Lord. That's the proper state of consciousness, and that is the state we should aspire for further purification. How this takeaway is applicable, how this important principle is applicable in these two verses, that we will see today. Now here, Ashwathama has fired Brahmastra, which is the Brahma, is the entire cosmic manifestation, and Astra means the one which is going to destroy the whole cosmic manifestations. That's what Brahmastra is, and he has fired it. The first principle of using any weapon is the right situation. He is not following the right situation. Second, the consequences of that astra, of that weapon, you should be perfectly aware of. Now, Ashwathama is foolish enough that he has fired this Brahmastra, which is going to destroy him as well, and everybody. So the effulgence, the heat of that Brahmastra is basically to destroy the cosmic manifestation. It is the astra for annihilation of everything, and this is the wrong use of any weapon. Uh, he knows that Arjuna is very powerful, and he thinks that yes, now I can destroy Arjun. It's a very self-destructing mentality. A lot of people in today's world, we can see there is a COVID, there are Ukraine-Russia war, there are other economic complications and so many things. And then this kind of Ashwatthama mentality we can see in people's mind that yes, I will destroy everything, and with the foolish idea that yes, me, my nation, my people will only live and they will rule the world. Rest everything we will destroy. Very typical mentality of Ashwatthama we can see in today's world as well. Of course, they are not as powerful as Ashwatthama either, so they can't do much. And obviously, we'll come to a point that it's the every vidya, everything is the opulence of the Lord. Whether somebody is beautiful, whether somebody is very wealthy, whether somebody is very powerful, somebody is very intelligent, someone is very famous, and everything. Those are all the opulences of the Lord. And Lord is kind enough, Krishna is kind enough that he has shared his opulences all with us. If we don't use those opulences properly, the spark of those opulences, that is a misuse of power, and misuse of power always comes with responsibility. So this we should always keep in mind, and that is the reason today's important principle we were talking about, that our duty should be performed as an act of worship to the Lord. His opulences should be used to worship the Lord himself and not for our sense gratification. That is the principle from these two verses. And that in that proper state of consciousness, we can aspire for further purification, to go closer to him, to enter his kingdom, when all our anarthas, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, matsar, will be gone, and then we will be back home with our eternal hope, with our eternal mother and father. So that should be the takeaway from today. We can find many references of many Kshatriyas performing various rituals, and throughout, if we see even the Mahakavya, the Shakuntal by Kalidas, or Ramayana, Mahabharata, there are many kavya in Sanskrit, and I mean, in those all the kavya, basically those are all stories, and in that we can see the references that many Kshatriyas, all the great warriors, they have performed certain rituals in the service of their Ishtadev. If somebody is for example, Ravan was the worshipper of Lord Shiva. So before any kind of, he was very knowledgeable, he had a lot of knowledge, and he used to follow certain rituals to worship Lord Shiva. Obviously, we all know that every single power comes from Supreme Lord Krishna himself. The verse from the 12th canto, 13th chapter, the first verse, Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marudastunvanti Divyastavir. So every single personality is basically worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and obviously, they are empowered by Krishna himself. So anything even Lord Shiva gives is with the sanction of the Supreme Lord Krishna, and there is a reason why he allows somebody to get that kind of, he shares the opulences of the Lord with somebody, even with demons or with demigods or with some tiny creatures like us. There is a reason behind it. So they follow coming back to the point, I was getting a bit digressed, that every Kshatriya, when they perform their rituals before they fight or they do their administrative tasks, they follow certain rituals and they worship the weapons. As Dashera we had some time back, a few days back. Before that, the Dashera is Dashmi, the 10th day. And ninth day is called Shastra Puja, or some people call Khandenavami, or many other names are there. So in that, people do Shastra Puja and on that day, and there is a reason that every weapon or every Shastra given by we have received, even that is if it is for fighting or if it's for farming or for our skills or anything, we are supposed to be grateful for that, because it is an opulence of the Lord shared with us, and as a sense of gratitude, because it is coming from the Lord, that's why we do the Shastra Puja on that particular day, because it's an instrument of mercy, used for the service of the Lord. And we take blessings from the elders because they have followed the same rituals and the situations, and we take guidance from them. Hence, even if somebody dies in the war, their families were looked after by the arrangement of the Lord, directly or indirectly. That's how the arrangement was in the previous battles and wars. So, what verse from Bhagavad Gita we remember in this context? There are two verses from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Can anyone remind me those two verses? No? Okay. First is Yajjuhoshi Yadasnasi Yajjuhoshi Yadasnasi Yat Karosi Dadasyat Yat Tapasyasi Kaunteya Tat Kurusha Mad Arpanam. Lord says that everything you do, all the yajna, all sacrifices, all your efforts, everything you do as a service to me. Yat Tapasyasi, and your tapasya. Your austerities you perform, you should do not for yourself, not for your sense gratification, but you should do that as an offering to me. So that's the first verse. And then second verse in this particular context, if the person worships their Ishtadev, some demigod, the person will go to that planet. If somebody worships their ancestors, the person will go to that planet. And somebody worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead, person will go back to the Bhagavad Dham, to the eternal realm where we belong to. So what's the verse related to that? Anyone? Okay. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrunyanti pitruvrataha bhutani yanti bhutejja yanti madhya jinopimam. So the verse is, what the verse says is, Yanti deva vrata devan. The person who worships the demigod will go to the planet of demigods. Pitrunyanti pitruvrataha. The person who worships the forefathers, they will go to the planet of forefathers. Bhutani yanti bhutejja. If the person, somebody worships the black magic, the ghosts and hobgoblins and all their category, that person will reach them, because that's what the person, that Jivatma's desire is. Bhutani yanti bhutejja yanti madhya jinopimam. So Lord says that if somebody worships me, they will come back to me. So that's simple. Whatever rituals we follow, that's what our destination is going to be. What work we do, as we know from the third and fourth chapter, Lord explains about the karma, especially in the third chapter. He starts, and then later on it comes to the fourth chapter. What are the three types of karma? Can anyone remind me what are the three types of karma?
Karma, akarma, vikarma.
Yes, thank you very much, Mataji. I was feeling for some time that I am talking to myself, but at least thank you, you replied. So, so yes, karma is you do something and you get the reaction of it as per the Vedic literature, as per the scriptures. You follow the actions and you will get the fruit for that. You do some sacrifice, um, do your oblations, which are called samidha or ahuti, and you will get back the results. Yeah. As we know in Govardhan Leela, the reasoning behind it, Nanda Maharaj was offering his ahuti, he was giving his offering to Lord Indra. So that is a type of karma. Second is vikarma. Without following any rules, any regulations, a person keeps doing the activity just purely for sense gratification. And a lot of times our senses are not satisfied, so person tries to get the heightened experience and gets into the realm of perversions. So that is called vikarma or ugra karma, which has got a very severe karmic negative karmic reactions. So that's the two types. And the third one, as Matai said, akarma, that means doing the pure devotional service to the Lord. And that third type of karma is the ideal type of activity that we all should be engaged in. That everything we do as yajjuhoshi yadasnasi yat karosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. That's how our consciousness should be. So, what does Srila Prabhupada tells us? He said, see, in this particular context as well, as soon as our day starts, our day should start with the process of purification. We should follow the process of, yes, keeping our body clean and healthy. Second is, then we should work on our mind, keeping our mind tuned and healthy. How? By those who follow the process of Gayatri chanting, they should do the Gayatri and then chant the holy name of the Lord. If possible, read some scriptures, tune our mind, eat prasadam only, honor prasadam, and if we should go around the deity, all four sides, four times, and this is a type of respectful surrender we should follow. And that's what Arjuna is following here. That he's, yeah, he's circumambulating the Lord, Sri Krishna, because this is the situation, very, very peculiar, very predicament he is in, and we'll come to that point. So he's following this process of certain rituals of surrender, and that's how our day should start. Yeah. And Srila Prabhupada has given us the set formula. We start our day by chanting the holy name, or as I said, people who do Gayatri, they follow their Gayatri schedule, take the blessings of our Guru Parampara and our elders. We read scriptures, we take prasad, and we start our day by tuning our consciousness as a servant of the Lord. When we don't follow this path, we can see that our unwanted propensities start surfacing, and that's where fear starts entering our mind, our consciousness. The miseries start because of that fear, insecurity, and related complications to that. Someone may say that yes, work is worship, service to humanity is service to God, do good to others. In American style, if someone says do right thing or something similar. But if you don't have right consciousness, right process of purification of worship, if we don't follow, we are missing the most important guide, who is the Supreme Lord, in our actions throughout that day. And without guidance from Krishna, usually people will worship their ill intentions, worship the senses, they will worship their false ego, their selfish ideas, and that will lead to the path of miseries, path of hell. That's what Lord Brahma says in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, here the common statement we hear from people, I don't have time to do all this. The interesting bit here is, did Arjun say that I don't have time? Hello, means you just help me. Now I'm in trouble and I don't have time to follow all the rituals. No, God, Krishna has given him all the facilities, all the time, everything. And because of that, Arjun's complete surrender, his sincerity, he found time to do the purification, touch the water, and circumambulate the Lord, ask the right question, everything. Because as ye thamam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyam, if we take one step, Lord will take 10 steps. So yes, if we have that sincere desire, we will find time, we will find everything, every single facility. So that's the promise from the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita and in Srimad Bhagavatam and all other Vedic scriptures. So that it's the very demanding, desperate predicament Arjun was in. If we are in the similar situation like this, Brahmastra comes, the scorching heat, and then it's a time for our final exam. That's it. Wash our hands now. What to do? It's Yamadut are coming or Vishnudut are coming. That's our choice. And at that time, in that desperate moment, if we keep following the process of purification every daily, our sadhana, our Vedi sadhana bhakti, as given by Srila Rupa Goswami, then every moment of tough time, good or bad time materially, we will remain unaffected, and we will follow the right rituals, the right process of surrender, and right process to remember the Lord, and Lord will guide us. So that is the promise, and that's what the very, very important lesson from this whole episode of Ashwatthama firing Brahmastra and Lord protecting his most beloved devotee Arjun. Here we can learn from. Now, during the annihilation, now how the annihilation happens, now this whole process of Brahmastra, there is little bit of technicalities we can just discuss little bit. The sun in this universe becomes 12 times hotter. Everything becomes a totally dry ash. And this whole earth, the whole cosmic manifestation, at least for that particular part, it just keeps burning all the time. There is nothing remains there. Aparayamitastvanyam prakritim vidyame param. We can see the two superior energy, which is the Supreme Lord's spiritual abode, and the inferior energy, which is this energy. When living entities don't have anything to act here, they don't have any facility for sense gratification. So that means living entities will become dormant, because as we say, the sun little bit hotter means this last summer in UK, some days were incredibly hot according to the current relative terms here, and people were quite fed up of the heat. We can imagine if somewhere in Rajasthan, if the temperature already touches 50, 52, and if that goes 10 or 20 degrees more, how horrible it will be. 60, 65, 70 degrees centigrade. No way people can survive. So 12 times hotter sun becomes. That's what our scriptures say. It will become a totally dry ash, this whole cosmic manifestation. And after that, when that happens for certain few 100,000 or hundreds of years, then suddenly the torrential rain starts. And that's like Prabhupada says, it's like a trunk of an elephant. The rain pours on this earth. And then this earth becomes just a ball of water. This extreme situation continues for some time, and that is annihilation. So Brahmastra is we can imagine it's the weapon of destruction. What situation Arjun must be facing here? So do we have that kind of excuse that I don't have time, I can't follow this whole rituals, I can't follow the practice or the discipline of Vaidhi Bhakti? No, we are not in that kind of very demanding, pressing, uh, very precarious situation. Uh, Only the Supreme Lord knows. Here, another very important principle. Now, Brahmastra is coming to Arjun, and the scorching heat is felt by every living entity, and Arjun and everybody, and still people are alive, the living entities are there. So, what does that mean? When the Lord was there, Krishna was there, he was controlling that heat. He was absorbing that, because Brahma Astra, everything is coming from him. So he knows how to control it. He knows how to guide people. He knows everything. So he was controlling that weapon. What does that mean to us? This is something, a wonderful meditation for all of us. That Lord knows how to. He knows what is our requirement, and how to guide, and what to do at right point of time. Only he knows. No one else knows that. Perfect archer like Arjun, he was taking shelter of the Lord. So he knows how to create, how to use everything with 100% perfection, and he knows how to destroy it. So even if we say creator is Brahma, maintainer is Vishnu, and destroyer is Lord Shiva, but it's the Supreme Lord Krishna himself, and as he confirms in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he is the one. He says, what is the need to explain everything? I can create this with the spark of my splendor, create, maintain, and destroy innumerable universes like this. So that is the Lord we are worshipping. We may think sometimes that yes, it because of the illusion, I am the owner, I am the proprietor of something, and following the rituals is helping me for my sense gratification. But the ultimate purpose of rituals is surrender, is worship of the Lord, and that is in the path of bhakti. And maybe sometimes because of our good karma, Lord may share some of his tiny spark of his opulences, fame, beauty, wealth, and all that. But um, he has, at the same time, he has given us the power of discrimination. He has given us the power of intelligence. He has given us the intelligence, and we are supposed to use all these opulences he has shared with us in his service only. And that's what Arjun is doing here. And that is the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Srila Rupa Goswami, as instructed by the Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which Srila Prabhupada has given us the summary study as Nectar of Devotion. We should be following that, studying the scriptures and sharing with others. So in the current situation, which is not very encouraging, and that's how the material world is. There is COVID, there is war, as we were talking about, there is food shortage, there is economic recession, supply chain, political problems, and this is a very bewildering situation, and might be quite frustrating for many people who haven't taken the path of devotional service, path of bhakti. That is, but for a devotee, we should have firm faith in the Lord that yes, in every situation, it is the predicament, it is the pressing situation. Lord will give us the right direction, and bring us to his lotus feet. And that's the opportunity to take the shelter of the Lord. We have to be optimistic because Rupa Goswami says, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad says that in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that a person who is pessimistic, he is atheist. Uh, so, every devotional service is the supreme optimism. And time will be different for all of us, for everyone, but end result is Lord will bring us to His lotus feet. That's the assurance Lord has given in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in all other scriptures to all of us. So that's what the discussion I thought we will have here. We have some time. So some of the verses from Bhagavad Gita where Lord is giving us he is the supreme proprietor. So we will read few verses and which is connected to this today's discussion. So first verse is verse 7 point. Actually, the seventh chapter, quite a few verses are very, very apt for this. So we can see that Jnana Vijnana Yoga, that's the name of the seventh chapter. And here he says that what are the elements Lord has created? Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, all together 8 constitute by separated material energies. So it is all his creation. What's the verse related to that? His material energy, he tells in fourth chapter. Can anyone remind me the verse? दैवी एषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया माम एव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायाम एताम तरन्ति मे. So this energy is also divine. Lord says that, and the person who surrenders to him, then he can easily cross over it. So this is all his creation. It all belongs to him. And besides this, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind. What's the verse? It is Apare mitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahavaho yayedam dharyate jagat. So the living entities, we are in this energy. Marginal potency is connected currently with the lower energy of the Lord. And that's what Prabhupada, you all must have heard. It is an incompatible situation. Because we are connecting to the inferior nature. Tatastha Shakti, Antaranga Shakti and Bahiranga Shakti. So we are currently connected. We are marginal potency, Tatastha Shakti, but we are in contact with Bahiranga Shakti, which is of the inferior nature. So this is the fourth verse. Bhumirapo nalo vayu khamano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashtadha. Sixth verse is also very important. All created beings have their source in these two natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. This is the confirmation that he is the proprietor, he is the creator. So, and we will go to the seventh verse. Mattah parataram nanya kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protram sutre manigana iva. This very famous, very, very important verse to meditate. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on the thread. So he is the one, he is the supreme proprietor. That's the confirmation. And this is another very, very important verse to meditate from Bhagavad Gita. Rasoham apsukamteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho pranavaha sarva vedeshu shabdaha khe paurusham nushu. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water. If we see the elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, prithvi, aap, tej, vayu, akash, our tongue can taste everything because of water. And he is saying that he is the taste of that water. So we can taste anything. That's because of the Lord, um, the supreme engineer, this perfect scientist. Anything we can think of in this world, the intelligence, somebody's incredible, powerful mind and intelligence, everything comes, we can relate to the Supreme Lord here. The light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, and I am the sound of ether and ability in man. In man, man means it is for human beings. We don't have to get into this gender complications here. So that's some of the actually seventh chapter is a lot of verses are very important. So this is what I thought. This is also a very, very important verse to understand what are the opulences of the Lord he has shared with us. And here he talks about fire. So Punyo Gandaha Prithvivyam cha Tejaschasmi Vibhavasau Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu Tapaschasmi Tapasvishu. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in the fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. Very important verse just before Sarvasya Chaham Hridisannavishto, the 15th, the verse in the 15th chapter. Lord confirms one more thing in this particular context, how he has distributed the principle of fire for the right cause in the entire universe. We can see that from this particular verse. Very, very meditative, very beautiful verse it is. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamachritah Pranapana Samayuktah Pachamyannam Chaturvidham. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life outgoing and incoming to digest the four kinds of foodstuff. Such a beautiful verses those are in the Bhagavad Gita and in Bhagavatam. It gives the completeness of what Lord's creation is, what he has shared with us, what he has given us, and how grateful we should be, and how we should be using everything he has given to us in his service, so that being his beloved creation, his children, he will look after everything if we follow his rules, his directions and the regulations of this creation. So that's what I thought of sharing with all of you today. Yeah, this is the Sarvasya Chaham Hridisannavishto. That's the verse. That's very important. Let's read that as well. Matah Smrtiridnyanam Apohanam cha Vedeshcha Sarver Ahamev Vidyo Vedanta Krut Vedavideva Chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So, this is what Lord's confirmation is, as the verse Shrunvatam Sugata Krishna, that Lord himself is confirming what are his opulences, who he is, and what is our responsibility, what is our duty in this material world. So that's what I thought of, came to my mind to discuss with all of you. If there are any questions or any comments or anything to add, please unmute yourself and let us know.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the lovely class.
Okay.
You know, when you say there is the fire in the stomach,
Yeah.
how exactly is the fire shown, like in day-to-day life? How can we notice that fire inside the stomach? How do we make it apparent that there is one? So if someone says there is no fire, we can explain to them how there is one.
Yes. Good. Thank you for asking the question. If you don't mind, may I know How old are you? Are you a student?
Yeah, I'm 10 years old, Prabhuji.
Oh, that's good. Good question. Thank you for asking. So, fire need not have to be the one we see in the as a flame. Acid is also a type of fire. Okay, because what acid does, if you put acid on something, what it does, it burns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the process of burning starts there, and that burning uh, is also a unmanifested form of fire, which is present inside the acid. So in our stomach we have acid, right? Hydrochloric acid, HCl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we eat something, that gets digested because of that fire in the acid,
Okay.
and that gives us the energy. What When we burn something in the fire, what happens?
It gets brighter or it gets bigger.
We get energy, right? When we burn wood, we get energy back, we get heat,
Yeah.
right? So in the same way, when we eat something, it burns in that acid, and it gives us the urja, the energy, the power to perform our day-to-day activities. And that's what fire in our stomach is.
Okay.
And in Sanskrit it is called Jathara Agni. Jathara means our stomach, and Agni means fire. So fire in the form of that acid. So well, yeah, as time progresses, when you will study your biology bit further in next few years, you will get even deeper and detailed understanding of how that acid works, how that fire works.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
no problem. Do you have any other question?
No, that covered it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Um, any other question or comment anyone has? No? So we will stop here today, and hoping to discuss some works sometime later, maybe next week again. Thank you everybody for your association, though it was virtual. So vanchakalpatarubhyascha कृपा
सिन्धुभ्य एव च
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very nice
Thank you,
class.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful
Hare
class. Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your encouraging words.
Hare Bo. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.